Hey guys, so I wanted to tell you what happened the other day when I was here at the house and I heard the doorbell ring and I went to the door. Hello? And what I found was a guy at the door from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And I don't know if that's going to focus, but he gave me his business card. And what he was here for was he was here to tell me that he was here to give me a ticket for flying my drone. He gave me a ticket for flying my drone at a basically a wildlife preserve. It's a big open park area, and I have a drone video of my footage from there, which I'll link to. But anyway, basically what this says is disturbance of wildlife by aircraft drone at low altitude. And the ticket is for $230. So basically what happened, and when I drove in and to the wildlife preserve, and it's basically a big open park with walking paths and things like that, I noticed on the main entrance sign that there were some things that were marked as allowed. One was cameras, one was, I forget, like walking your dog and maybe some other stuff. Anyway, but there were a few things that were marked as allowed, and there was nothing anywhere, even in the written portion of the sign, that said anything about not flying drones. And as far as I know, the regulation that he referenced in talking to me had to do with commercial aircraft. And basically what he told me is that this drone right here, that's smaller than my head, could be classified as a commercial aircraft, and that he could have fined me for landing a commercial aircraft on the wildlife preserve, which is a little bit ludicrous when you look at the size of this. But anyway, so he gave me a ticket for disturbing the wildlife. The craziest thing was he came to my house. This wildlife preserve is about it's like a 25-minute drive from here. So somehow through my YouTube channel he tracked down where I lived. He came out not once but twice. The first time he came out and stood in my driveway and knocked on my door, and then the next day he came back and gave me the ticket. Now, I'm not saying that I shouldn't have received some sort of warning about this, or that I should have necessarily been flying there, but there was no signage saying that I couldn't fly my drone, and there was and nobody told me while I was there that I couldn't fly it there. Obviously I'm not going to fly it there anymore now that I know, but I think that it would have made a lot more sense to have given me a warning, and just told me that that it was not somewhere that I'm able to fly. But for them to go to my YouTube channel, track down where I live, come to my house and give me all of this, it just felt a little bit over the top to me. And then he also told me that he had consulted with their biology board, and that he had reported this to the FAA. So I just, the guy was nice enough. He wasn't a jerk, he wasn't mean. He invited me to come back to the wildlife preserve anytime in the future. So as far as his mannerisms and his interaction with me, it was nice, it was friendly, and I did appreciate that, but I did feel like the ticket was a little bit over the top, and them tracking me down to my house was a little bit over the top, in my opinion. he did say that some of the comments on my YouTube video caused them to be a little bit alarmed. People commenting on my YouTube video saying they want to go there and fly. But one thing they could have easily done is said, hey, we are on the board of the Wildlife Preserve, and drone flying isn't allowed. They could have easily commented on my video to say that. That would have been welcome. So anyway, so this is sort of a couple of things. One is, I felt like it was over the top. And when I see these videos, I put another one up on another channel, and people are commenting and saying things like, oh, you're misusing the freedom to fly your drone, and that you should fly at a model airplane field. The idea of these, and these are marketed on sites like B&H Photography and things like that as a flying camera, the idea is to be able to get aerial shots of things that you can share with others, and certainly you want to do it responsibly. But the idea that this is something that is a sport like a model airplane, that the purpose of this is to fly it and the enjoyment of it is to fly it, is completely missing the point. This is a camera. It's a way to get aerial footage inexpensively without having to hire a helicopter or something like that. And so that being said, the point of flying this is to capture scenery or things like that that are unique or that are unusual. I also have a friend who flies these. He has a Phantom 4 that he flies, and he was flying his in the wilderness, which is hours outside of any urban areas and things like that, and nobody lives there. It's just wide open wilderness. And somebody stopped him and said that you can't fly drones in the wilderness because it might disturb the wildlife or something like that. So with all the different places that we're seeing restrictions being placed on these drone flights, it kind of makes me wonder, where you can fly these. And I would be happy if there were some sort of license that went along with it, where you had to take a test and you had to sort of comply with some sort of rules, like, don't fly close to someone's house, or don't chase wildlife with a drone, or whatever it might be. But for them to just ban these everywhere just sort of misses the whole point of what these are, and sort of, I think, steps on the freedom of people to enjoy the outdoors, enjoy wildlife. They don't make those issues with private aircraft. They don't make those issues with helicopters, but they're really cracking down on these drones. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Hope you guys are having a better time flying your drone outdoors than I am, in terms of not running into challenges here and there. But if you have had any sort of issues or any commentary on what you think about this, or about the way that they seem to be restricting and cracking down on drone flight, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. And let's talk about this. I think it's a fairly new problem for government agencies like the FAA, and I think there needs to be a little bit more consensus. And again, like I said, if there was some sort of licensing process, I'd be happy to go through it. And I know there is a remote pilot license you can get for UAVs or unmanned aerial vehicles, which I am looking into and I would like to get. But yeah, I think it would be good to have a better process around this to protect the freedoms of capturing aerial video and photography. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you want to watch more drone videos, and have a good day.